Hello, and welcome to the Loyola Phoenix's Production Night Sessions, our weekly live stream series in which we feature performing artists who are interviewed by one of our reporters, usually me, who asks them questions between their songs, similar to Audio Tree or NPR's Tiny Desk. This week's guest is Luis, our audio editor for the Phoenix. So if you've ever listened to the byline, you know exactly who I'm talking about because he's the man behind the job. Let's get him into this live stream.
Me, come fly, let's
There we
fly
go.
away.
All right.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Zach. How are you?
I am well. How are you? All right, I'm going to turn this around.
I'm hanging out, just at home, enjoying the best we can.
That is good to hear. All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we can get on with it.
Okay, yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Luis Mejía. As Zach said, I'm part of the Phoenix staff. I work as the audio editor. You probably haven't seen a whole lot of me, except or my voice, really. I just kind of stand behind the scenes and just edit really everything they give me. So it's just a whole lot of fun. But another thing by that, I'm actually an international student from Mexico, and I play guitar sometimes, and I'm happy to be here right now. I'm a junior at Loyola too. I don't know if that's important. Just got done with that.
That is. Happy finals are over.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Happy and ready to party.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Well, if you would like to, you can go into your first song.
Okay, sounds good. Let me just pull this up real quick. All right. So this song, it's in Spanish. Don't be worried if you can't really understand it. But yeah, it's a little bit of a fun little ditty about traveling away, going away from home, and hoping to come back someday. The name of the song is Ultramar. Ya voy partiendo a ultramar, no sé a dónde ni a qué hora voy a llegar, pero no quiero estar solo sin ti. Voy partiendo a ultramar, navegando por aguas nuevas, la luna llena guiándome. No estoy seguro si volveré con alma de pirata, partiré al fin. Con la luna de plata me iré de aquí. Ultramar, no quieras regresar. Ultramar, nuevas aguas, nuevas vidas encontrarás. Nuevas aguas, el mar abierto te dará. Yeah.
Woo! Can we get some clapping emojis in the chat for that fantastic first song? So you mentioned, you are an international student from Mexico, and today is Cinco de Mayo, which I think is probably a very misunderstood Mexican holiday. So I wanted to ask you a few things about it. If you could just clarify for the audience, what exactly Cinco de Mayo is.
I'm glad you asked. Well, I'll tell you, Zach. Cinco de Mayo, first of all, before we get started, Cinco de Mayo is not Independence Day in Mexico. Don't ever get that idea. That is not a wildly celebrated day in Mexico. Our independence was not today. It is on the 16th of September. So that is something I think first important to get out of the way. Cinco de Mayo is actually just the remembrance of one battle fought by the Mexican army against the French back in 1864 in the city of Puebla, the city of Puebla, Mexico. And on the 5th of May, just like this one in 1864, actually 1863, the Mexican army was facing insurmountable odds against the French army and eventually was able to fend off the French attack in the 5th of May. So it's something very excitedly celebrated in the city of Puebla, but really only in the city of Puebla. However, I did say that the Mexicans did repel the French. It was a bit of a Pyrrhic victory because the French did indeed come into Mexico and won that war and established an emperor. So that was just one victory in a losing war, I'll tell you that.
So it is a wild celebration, but in one city, Puebla.
Yeah, that one city is the place where it's really observed, I guess.
Okay. So definitely a misconception. And of course, the September 16th date is the actual Independence Day for Mexico, very close to another holiday dear to my heart, the 21st of September. Earth, Wind, and Fire,
Do you remember it?
I do remember it. But you mentioned a new emperor was established, and when we were talking before the show, you mentioned that this was one of your favorite historical figures, just somebody that you found interesting. Could you explain this emperor a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So here's the thing. So a little bit of background. The French attacked Mexico because they wanted an excuse to have some sort of power in Mexico, some sort of European control hold in the Americas, and this is how they did it. They established an emperor in Mexico, an Austrian man by the name of Maximilian of Habsburg, and this man ruled Mexico from 1864 to 1867. And you may be asking, am I just reading off a script? No, I know this off my head because this person is my most favorite historical person ever. And I'll show you exactly how, Zach. I actually have countless books about Maximilian, my man, right there with his name. That's one. Here's another one. Don't you fret. I also have several postcards of him in his castle, of him. Really, this is someone that I'm obsessed about. I even carry a little picture of him with me everywhere I go, no matter what, in my wallet. So about him, he just has a wonderful story about traveling abroad to a faraway land. And fun fact, that's where I find most inspiration for my songs. I'm obsessed with this thing. So I've been writing about our boy Maximilian, you could say, pretty often.
So what about him is, so interesting? What sparked this kind of obsession with, this emperor?
Well, the thing about Maximilian is that, again, he was Austrian and he loved to travel. He loved traveling the world. He went all over the place and fell in love, really loved life, loved living, loved exploring, loved interacting with other cultures, to the point whenever he went to Mexico, he fell in love with it. He felt accepted by the people there, and his dying words were, "Long live Mexico." He adored being alive in a country so full of culture, of tradition, of just wonderful different things. So, and I kind of identify with that idea of leaving home and falling in love to wherever you are. He was a bit of a soft-hearted guy too, didn't rule with too hard of a fist, and I think that's why he ended up being shot by a firing squad 3 years into his reign. But that's beside the point.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate end for sure for him. But that really is, obviously, finding home in a new place. That's definitely a tough thing to do. Have you just kind of applied that in your experience as an international student?
I think so. You have to realize that you're traveling, you're kind of basically a nomad, and you have to find home wherever you go. Home cannot be one stable place. Home cannot be your hometown, your native country. Home has to be wherever you are surrounded with the people you love and those who love you as well. Um, yeah, something like
That's
that.
very sweet. That's really nice. Now you mentioned that Maximilian has influenced your writing. Have you written? You said you wrote a song about him.
I have written a song about him, and I'm probably the only person under 50 that knows as much as I do about him. So I have found a lot of inspiration in his life to write some songs, some stuff.
Are we going to be hearing that song tonight?
You can be hearing it right now if you want, Zach.
You know what? Go ahead. Go into it.
Okay. So this song is named after Maximilian. It's called Walls of Glass. It's all about Maximilian of Habsburg. Probably the only instance you'll hear of a song written to a dead Austrian emperor. So get excited. Let us go out to faraway lands. Kings of the world will be. Through mud and bad air, we will go without care, knowing that you're with me. Let us go out from our blue ocean waters, leave behind our walls of glass. New world for our sons and daughters. Maybe this time it will last. This is where you're supposed to get sad at this point, because you know where this is coming. But you need to know the background, I guess. Oh, where did you go wrong? You were just as sporting notes on that country station song. The tensions were high, wound up getting shot. The firing squad, your name already forgot. Let us go out to our blue ocean water, leave behind our walls of glass. A new world for our sons and daughters. Maybe this time it will last. Woo! Now don't be loud, for Max just closed his eyes. Turns out you can't rule when you're being too nice. You will hear from him maybe once, maybe twice. You went out from your blue ocean waters, left behind your walls of glass. Left this world with no sons or daughters. Maybe this time it did not last. And that's it.
All right, some more clap emojis in the chat. For those of you just joining us, this is the Loyola Phoenix's Production Night Sessions, our weekly live stream series. And we are with Luis Mejía, and we just heard a wonderful song about Emperor Maximilian, an Austrian emperor that took a great part in the war that inspired the holiday of Cinco de Mayo. Now that truly is a tragic ending.
Yeah, he was shot by firing squad and came back to Austria a failure, a coward. So again, it's a crazy story that I probably shouldn't care this much about, but I will never stop reading and knowing about it. So, uh, very exciting.
To each their own. That is an interesting story. Not often do you find emperors that are, first of all, benign, and second of all, interested in the culture of the places that they are conquering. So that definitely is. It's understandable why you'd be so interested in that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a little excitement, and give you a little more historical background to Cinco de Mayo, which people typically won't tell you about. So,
Yeah, absolutely. We're here to inform.
yeah.
On another note of cultural pursuit, earlier in quarantine, you did some pieces for the Loyola Phoenix where you engaged in a beer fast. Now, from my understanding, this is an older tradition, much older than we are. Could you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, a couple of months, about a month ago, I was reading up on what monks in Munich used to do during Lent, during times of self-isolation from the world back in the 16th century, 13th century actually. And these monks in Munich, they were very famous for one thing, making beer, and they brewed beer. And considering that's all they're doing as monks, isolated from the world during Lent. That's all they would do. They would go on a fast where they would consume nothing but beer and water. And I don't know what inspired me to do this, but I decided to do a beer fast in the spirit of those same people. And let me tell you, not a lot of fun. I only lasted 1 week, not an entire month. But I realized it is quite unhealthy for me to be doing something unhealthy, especially during these times. Anything that could compromise my immune system, anything that could lower my defenses, it was a little bit irresponsible for me to do. But I had a lot of fun, and I made it out. I'm back to eating, not just water, not just beer. So we're hanging out.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. And so the kind of the beer that they would craft, was that just part of a religious thing for them, or was that just kind of something they had to do?
I wish I could say it was because of a religious thing. No, they just had nothing to do, and so they made beer, and they just had it in surplus amount. Uh, so that's what it is.
That would make sense. Yeah, no, that would make sense. I mean, if they're brewing it all the time. And so you mentioned you last 7 days, and if you guys want to follow Luis's journey through this beer fast, all journals, you had seven, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Six
So
actually.
we
I think I got.
Six. Okay, so there were six journal entries, and those are up on the Loyola Phoenix website under the Arts and Entertainment section. Um, because again, a cultural pursuit. So you can read up a little bit more on that. But specifically the beer, I know you mentioned at one point that it was very similar to what they crafted. How did you even manage to find that?
They actually sell it. It's a very popular brewery brand. That brewery that made those beers that the monks used to drink actually still makes beer to this day. So it's very easy to find. So just a quick Google, and you will find the closest recipe to what the monks used to have for Lent. So.
That's so interesting. And obviously even more interesting with the tie-in to Lent. Um, all right, well, if you want to go into your next song, you can.
That's good. So this next song, this is kind of probably it was the very first thing I wrote when I decided to dabble to more kind of creative stuff. And this song is very, very meaningful to me. It's a song in English, but I used some words in Nahuatl, which is the language of the Aztecs, actually one of the most well-spoken native languages in all of Latin America, really most of the Americas too. So this song is called My Kingdom in the Center of the Moon. Lead us to, actually, let me start again. I need a capo for this one, so I apologize for taking that. But now we're actually getting started. There we go. Cool. Lead us to our land, oh sacred bird. Lucky little hummingbird, we will follow you for days. But where you'll take us, little hummingbird, that is where we'll stay. And you said, in eagle's mouth, the snake will die. But do not run and do not cry, for in that home your lake will lie. My kingdom in the center of the moon, my heart longs to see you so soon. Ni meets your macto, my heart grows so to see you soon. Your gods live on the moon and the sky. The feathered serpent still will fly. Sacred birds, your people went too far, kept going to land so far away. But to see you soon, all nights I pray. You said, in eagle's mouth, the snake will die. But do not run and do not cry, for in that lake your home will lie. You said, in eagle's mouth, the snake will die. But do not run and do not cry, for in that lake your home will lie. My kingdom in the center of the moon, my heart grows old to see you oh so soon. Ni meets your macto, my heart grows old to see you oh soon. Qual sin situazi que se torna a ti, ni meets your macto. My kingdom in the center of the moon, my heart aches to see you soon.
Woo! All right, some more clapping emojis. It's the closest to applause we can get in these times.
A little bit of context on that song. Mexico in Nahuatl, the native language, the native language in Mexico actually means the kingdom in the navel of the moon, or in the center, because Mexico, or Tenochtitlan, was founded in the middle of a lake. So it's kind of fitting, and that's why. So if you ever heard my kingdom in the center of the moon, that means Mexico. That's a little special, a little thing there. So
fun fact, it's like the genius annotations on the side of the lyrics.
the genius annotation inside the lyrics, kingdom in the center of the room means Mexico.
There you go. You learn something new every day.
That's true. There we go.
Informational music. So on the topic of, kind of music in different languages and things like that, I know that we've mentioned that with the Phoenix, people probably haven't heard your voice as much, but with WLUW, Loyola Phoenix's radio station, they probably have. I know that you have a station where you feature Mexican artists. Have there been any that have put out any music recently, or have there ever been any favorite artists that you featured that have been doing live streams recently?
Yeah, so I actually, like you said, yeah, do have a radio show at WLUW, which is Loyola's radio station. It's called The Modern Mexican. So pretty fitting. It's just featuring new Mexican artists that are playing more kind of hip stuff that you probably wouldn't be hearing on the radio. And I don't know, there are so many artists, as many artists as there are in the U.S., just putting out music. This time they might be Mexican, and they have just wonderful, wonderful music. So I don't think I can give you one particular one, but just know that there are a lot of artists happening in Mexico, up and coming artists that are really showing some promise to be wonderful. And if you're curious and listening to this, I do have my radio show, The Modern Mexican, on 88.7 WLUW, which we're actually next Friday, starting next week, Fridays at noon, you will hear some new Mexican artists and hear my voice, for better or for worse.
Fantastic, yeah. And you mentioned, Mexican art in the United States. I know a while back, and it continued a bit, there was kind of a surge in Spanish-speaking music in the United States, kind of in popular music in the United States. What are your thoughts on that? Is it nice to see some of that kind of permeate into popular culture in the United States?
I love it. Especially being in Chicago, it's already so... like you said, Spanish permeates the kind of culture in general, just being in such a largely Hispanic city. I think it's great. I think it's important for people to recognize that there's more than just our own views on the world. There's more than just what we have around us, and whether that be Mexican, European, Latin American, anything, there's a lot that listening to this kind of music can be very beneficial to our own personal growth and our own personal development. And if I can help out a little bit by playing some Mexican music for a couple hours a week, then I'll be that guy. I'll do it.
You're part of the movement. Yeah, for sure. It helps break kind of this almost like cultural tunnel vision that we can get sometimes. I know that I myself get stuck listening to the same 3 songs, but obviously that is on a much larger scale in terms of just, the cultural barriers in art. So it's nice to see those kind of be broken down sometimes.
Yeah, it's an interesting. It's good to do. Good to listen to others and be open to listening to what others are saying too.
Yeah, absolutely. Gives different perspectives, opens up new opportunities to kind of learn and listen to others.
Exactly. You got it, Zach. Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like we are out of time for this week. So thank you, Luis, for joining us. And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in to the Loyola Phoenix's production night sessions this week. Remember to tune in next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central Time, right here on the Loyola Phoenix Instagram page at Loyola Phoenix. You can also follow us on Twitter at PhoenixLUC and on Facebook at the Loyola Phoenix. Also, you can subscribe to our newsletters to be reminded that these live streams are even happening, and also get the updates from our news team, our sports team, and our arts team, as well as some opinion pieces right in your mailbox. So thank you guys again, and we will see you next week.
Zach, could I do a song to play us out?
For sure. Go ahead.
Just one last one. Just this one's for you. This one's a gimme.
Thank you.
This was just a nice message of hope for all of you stuck at home. A little reminder to remember all of the good things that we have around us, and be excited with what we have. And also remember that home is the best place to be, regardless of whether that's a place or that is a people whatever. This is a song about my hometown, so let's get excited. Yo nací con la luna de plata y nací con alma de pirata. He nacido rumbero y jarocho, trovador de veras, y me fui lejos de Veracruz, Veracruz, rinconcito donde hacen su nido las olas del mar. Veracruz, pedacito de patria que sabe sufrir y cantar. Veracruz, son tus noches diluvio de estrellas, palmera y mujer. Veracruz, vibra en mi ser. Algún día hasta tus playas lejanas tendré que volver. And like I say, Zach, everyone, it's dark times right now. And we just gotta be excited for whatever small things we have. Regardless of that being the people we have around us or what we're doing that day. It doesn't matter. So, wherever you are, maybe home, or who knows, remember your home, remember where you're from, and be a little happy. Veracruz, rinconcito donde has sentido las olas del mar. Veracruz, pedacito de patria que sabes sufrir y cantar. Veracruz, son tus noches diluvio de estrellas, palmera y mujer. Veracruz, libre en mi ser. Algún día hasta tus playas lejanas tendré que volver. Algún día hasta tus playas lejanas tendré que volver.
Woo! Thank you so much, Luis, for coming on this week, and thank you for educating us on Cinco de Mayo. Again, thank you to everybody joining us this week for joining us, and again, remember to tune in next week. Thank you very much.